Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Hoping for the best while preparing for the worst in Macomb County. There's one critical thing officials are hoping won't happen as they rush to fix that collapsed sewer in Fraser.
Also, a few shots of snow tonight, but we could be in for more over the weekend. The local forecasters are tracking it.
But first, police say he was driving super fast while super drunk. Our first look at the driver who plowed into another car and killed a woman. Thanks for being with us for the News at 5. Just a short time ago, 42-year-old Gregory Belkin appeared in court for the first time.
Accused of driving well more than 100 miles an hour in his black Maserati the night Rhonda Williams was killed. We bring in Rod Maloney. Now, Rod, his blood alcohol level was apparently extremely high, too.
Yeah, you know, the super drunk is 0.18, and the police are here saying that he was a 0.25, a very high blood alcohol level. He is in jail tonight. And unless something dramatic happens or changes in this case, it is likely he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. The rail-thin Belkin appeared in court today in leather shackles, wearing a sweatshirt and jeans closely guarded by a police officer. He's described as a Coast Guardsman, a buoy painter by trade, with a drunk driving conviction in Virginia. He's charged with second-degree murder and super drunk driving, death resulting. This was the accident Tuesday night, a terrible accident on Telegraph and Square Lake Road. The Maserati Belkin drove rear-ended the car that Rhonda Williams drove, and she died at the scene. Belkin allegedly drove at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Bloomfield Township police say he admitted to drinking 2 glasses of wine and then later buying a bottle of wine to go. He thinks, they say, he may have had more to drink, but he simply can't remember. Evidence brought out at his arraignment showed that his phone records say that he either was talking to or was texting his girlfriend saying, quote, "I'm going 100, 120, 150, and then the phone disconnected. They say he admitted to having dropped his phone, and when he reached down to pick it up, he slammed into the Oakland Township woman's car. Judge Diane D'Agostini said in denying bond that if there ever was a case where preventing the accused from being on the street, this is it. He'll return to court February 9th for a probable cause hearing and then a preliminary exam 5 days later. Now, tonight, the United States Coast Guard put out a statement saying that their hearts go out to the family of Rhonda Williams. They are also saying that they take drunk driving very seriously and that they're going to be working with the Bloomfield Township Police Department in all of this. And Belkin right now is suspended without pay. Back to you.
And you mentioned the Coast Guard and their reaction, Rod. I know you've been looking into Belkin's service with them.
Yeah, what we heard in court today is that he's been in the Coast Guard since 2002, came to Detroit in the area in 2013. But one of the things they mentioned toward the end of the hearing was that allegedly Belkin showed up at work back in December drunk, and they were investigating that already.
Yeah.
So that will likely be part of the preliminary exam when it comes up in about a week and a half.
We'd expect so. All right, Rod. Elsewhere, the water use restrictions are already in place in Macomb County. That might not be enough to keep sewage from backing up into basements and then pouring into the Clinton River.
And those restrictions have residents being asked to use extreme measures to conserve water. But the one thing that could ruin everything, something they can't control, and that's rain. That could force officials to release raw sewage into the river. Priya Mann is live in Fraser tonight. And Priya, you just got some brand new information you want to share with us.
Well, Kimberly, we've learned some of the sewage that would have flowed through this interceptor will be diverted to the Mount Clemens wastewater treatment plant. Now, that decision needed the approval of both Clinton and Harrison townships because the sewage would flow through township-owned pipes. And in light of everything that's happened here in the past 24 hours, officials met with the Public Works Commissioner.
600,000 people's waste is going through this.
And after sediment plugged the collapsed sewer line yesterday, elected officials met today with Macomb County Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller.
The truth is, all of these communities are the ones that are on the hook financially for the cost of this.
11 communities, part of the Macomb Interceptor Drainage District, on the hook for a fix that could top $100 million.
Homes that would back up with sewage would be in Clinton Township. I'm 100% confident we will not have that happen.
Half a dozen pumping stations along with disinfectant products are on standby in case there is an overflow. Water restrictions could also continue for another month until the temporary bypass pipe is completed. That's if Mother Nature plays along.
We really need the weather to be on our side for the next 3 to 4 weeks so that we can get the long-term bypass pumps in place to avoid any biohazard contamination into people's homes or businesses.
We got a first look at the proposed lining for a new pipe.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is a very heavy thing that I'm holding. So you can think about this lining an 11-foot diameter pipe and what the integrity of that pipe will be like once you line this thing.
And after 3 sinkholes in the same place, officials say this time construction projects will be bid on publicly.
Why should we trust her? Well, there's some accountability, there's some local control.
This may be the first time that many of us can remember in 2.5 decades that Public Works is actually working for the public.
And officials are asking the public to do their part by reducing the amount of water they're using, whether it's reducing the length of your showers, only running full dishwash and laundry loads, or not having the water run while you're brushing your teeth. But here's the thing, all of those efforts could be for nothing if we have a major weather event, whether it's a rainfall or snow melt, that would completely create an overflow here at the Interceptor, causing huge environmental problems. Reporting live from Fraser, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Yeah, make an even bigger mess of something. All right, Priya, we appreciate it. Let's get over to Andrew right now. He's in for Ben. Andrew, you heard Priya's report. Rain, not a good thing for those folks in Fraser, and snow, not either.
You're right, because of a possibility of a big snow melt. Well, fortunately, there's no big snow in the forecast. We're seeing the scattered snow around, but with temperatures hovering around freezing and going below at night, there's little chance for runoff. Any snow that falls, if it sticks to the ground, especially grassy areas, it remains solid, so it doesn't melt and immediately run off into the Clinton River. Fraser getting a few scattered snow showers right now, all on the light to moderate side. And again, they're on and off through the evening, and snow totals really not adding up to that much. Maybe a ½ inch to an inch at the most as we go through tonight, tomorrow, and our weekend. More lake effect snow still being generated off to our west, while it remains cold, with temperatures just below freezing, 31 or 29 degrees across our 4 zones. Any more scattered snow for this weekend? We'll talk about that, and temperatures for the weekend coming right up.
Okay, Andrew. An investigation is underway tonight after a massive fight breaks out in the parking lot of Martin Luther King Jr. School in Detroit.
Fight that happened around noon. There was a crowd of about 200 students around it. Police say after they broke up the initial fight, then several other fights erupted. 9 students were taken into custody. No weapons involved, no serious injuries. Police, though, still trying to get to the bottom of what started the whole thing. A Macomb County road worker improving one day after being shocked while on the job.
The 38-year-old Mount Clemens man was part of a crew installing guardrails. He was hurt when the boom on one of the trucks hit a power line, which caused a work truck to become electrically charged. We're told he's now conscious and showing signs of improvement.
Computers are now back up and running at the Michigan Secretary of State and its branches following a massive outage today. Outage was first reported about 9 a.m. and it left customers unable to complete their transactions either online or in person, but back up and running now.
Vice President Mike Pence made history at the annual March for Life. Tens of thousands attended the event protesting the legalization of abortion rights. Mr. Pence is the first sitting vice president to address the event. He told the marchers the administration supports their cause and promised to take action.
This administration will work with the Congress to end taxpayer funding of abortion and abortion providers.
A huge group from Michigan also attended the march. The march comes just 6 days before President Trump will make his Supreme Court choice.
And amid a growing crisis with Mexico, President Trump talked with the Mexican president by phone today, but in public kept talking tough about the border. And he met personally with Theresa May, Prime Minister of Great Britain. Steve Handelsman following it all from Washington. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Devin. Thanks. President Trump said today before he got here to Washington, Mexico beat us to a pulp. His words, made us look foolish, he said. But he said his call to Mexico City today was very good, and his meeting here in D.C. with Theresa May was productive. The president and the prime minister are opposites. Theresa May is reserved, Donald Trump brash. But they say they got along today, will strengthen NATO and fight ISIS, May using its Arabic name.
Work even more closely together in order to take on and defeat Daesh and the ideology of Islamist extremism.
Maybe, said Mr. Trump, with Vladimir Putin.
If we have a great relationship with Russia and other countries, and if we go after ISIS together, which has to be stopped, that's an evil that has to be stopped, I will consider that a good thing, not a bad thing.
The president hosted his first foreign head of state a week after being sworn in. Today, a disclosure. After the balls, the next morning, the president himself got on the phone to the head of the National Park Service, demanding government photos to counter what he falsely claims are media lies about his inaugural crowd being much smaller than Barack Obama's. He was on the phone for an hour today with Mexican President Peña Nieto, who canceled his trip to Washington over Trump's border wall and the White House weighing a 20% tariff on imports from Mexico to pay for it. President Trump said he hung tough on the call.
We have a trade deficit of $60 billion with Mexico. On top of that, the border is soft and weak. Drugs are pouring in, and I'm not going to let that happen.
Now he says he will negotiate with Mexico. Under him, President Trump insisted today we will no longer deal with other nations as the country that does not know what it's doing. From Washington, Steve Handelsman, Local 4.
Steve, thanks for that, and thanks for years of terrific reporting from the nation's capital. Steve, the one and only Steve Handelsman retiring after today.
We will miss him, too.
Sure will. Yeah. He's been terrific. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan helped open up a new era at the Colony Arms apartment building on East Jefferson today.
After some renovations, the Colony Arms will now be called Rivercrest Apartments and will provide affordable housing to Detroit residents. Mayor Mike Duggan helped open up the new apartments this afternoon, taking part in the ceremonial ribbon-cutting ceremony.
We've got a lot more ahead here today at 5. Nick?
No fraud has been found in the Detroit Elections Department following the presidential election, but they are admitting it was human error. So what will the city do to correct that?
Though we seek to administer perfect elections, we realize that there's no such thing, as elections is not an exact science.
More training and more machines. I'm Nick Monticelli. How much all of that is going to cost?
Hey guys, I want you to take a look. Here I'm in Babylon, here I'm in the DIA. Here I'm in Babylon, here I'm at the DIA. I'm going to give you your first look at some really cool technology that's going on right now at the DIA.
Okay, Paula, we'll be looking forward to that. But first, what set this guy off? New tonight, the gas station tantrum that has police issuing an urgent alert. That's next.
Tonight. New at 6.
My mom's jewelry, all of the jewelry boxes are broken into. Watches, cash clothes, jewelry, watches, cash, clothes.
Thieves got away with a lot of valuables from a house in Grosse Pointe Farms, but new at 6, how an alert neighbor and some savvy police work made sure they didn't get far.
Plus, the two teenagers charged in the death of a West Bloomfield mother appearing in court together today. New at 6, the question many thought would be answered today, but wasn't.
Detroit police need your help tonight to catch the man they say destroyed parts of a gas station, all of which was caught on camera. Happened at the BP gas station on 7 Mile, right by the Southfield. Officers say the suspect became mad when he wasn't given free items from an employee, then knocked over a rack of baked goods. The employee tried to activate the electric lock on the door, but the man kicked the door open and then left. But if you recognize him, know anything about it, you're asked to contact police.
Well, now to something new happening at the DIA. The next time you go check out their amazing collection, there's a high-tech tool you'll be able to take along with you. Paula Tutman shows us how tablets are being used as tour guides.
Hey guys, you know we love these kind of high-tech stories, but this one, I mean, this really does take the cake. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this very special device, and it's going to take me back in time so that I can experience the DIA in a whole different way. The DIA is the only art museum in the world doing this kind of high-tech virtual docent stuff that rockets you back in time.
It's a pilot program, so we're testing it out to see how it works.
Walk into the display with the mummies and go beneath the wrapping and the mummification.
So this is a 3D reconstruction of the skeleton that's inside the mummy.
Using these ordinary phones tricked out with a specific app.
And then you see the hotspots. The hotspots show up as these little blue plus signs with a circle around them. And you tap them, and you get more information about the conservation of the mummy.
And you are transported back in time, into the science, and perched in the front row seat of art and history by following the blue dot road on the highway of what's called augmented reality.
You heard about Pokemon Go, right? That's sort of the easiest way to explain it to people, is that you're looking at digital objects in the real world.
Click open, and it tells us to look behind us.
Oh my gosh.
And what we have here is a complete life-size reconstruction of the Ishtar Gate.
With this device, you can explore every brick, every tile, every carving from floor to ceiling and discover interesting factoids along the way. Anthony and 3-year-old Annie took a trip to Babylon.
That's very cool. Oh, I can go all the way up. You like that?
Yeah, that's a life.
Annie, what kind of animal is at the bottom? What are those? Horses? Look at that one. See on the screen? It's pretty neat.
Yeah. See?
That is neat.
Okay, so here you can see I'm in Babylon, and now I'm back in the DIA. And back in Babylon, and I'm looking up at the ceilings, and back in the DIA. So as I said, this is a pilot program, which means it's not widespread, it's not for school groups. It's really for families to try out. It's free with admission, the device is, but of course that means if you live in Wayne, Macomb, or Oakland County, because of that wonderful millage, it is free to you. Reporting from Babylon, Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Another reason to go to the DIA.
Yeah, I love it.
I love the little girl trying to figure out why it didn't look like that.
Why
on
the
other
horse
side of it.
wasn't on
Yeah.
the, exactly, she was
really
smart.
fun. Yeah,
And how
really
great, all
cool.
that amazing technology being premiered right here in Detroit. Augmented
Pretty
reality.
awesome. A little bit of snowfall out there today.
Yes, in the world of meteorology, we're talking about snow once again. Scattered on and off, but it can be slippery out there. So if you have any Friday evening plans, be careful as you head out. Radar's gotten a bit busier here in downtown Detroit. You can see a pretty large batch of snow north of 8 Mile, but also just downriver in southern Wayne County. We're looking at a few snowflakes as well. You can see slightly heavier snow in portions of northern Oakland County. Here in northern Wayne County, including downtown Detroit, also areas on the east side, including Hamtramck into the Grosse Pointes. Harper Woods getting a little bit snowier at the moment. Now it's been at or below freezing all day, so this snow has a better chance of sticking to road surfaces and sidewalks, so be careful driving and walking for this evening. More lake effect snow being produced right now out toward Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids that will continue to drift overhead. Temperatures mostly around freezing or a bit below. In terms of snow totals, really nothing to write home about, but still just enough to possibly disrupt your evening plans depending on when you start and when you end your trips. So make sure you factor in some extra time. Anywhere from 1/10 to 2/10, maybe a ½ inch of snow before the night's done. We're looking at 31 degrees currently. Snow being reported over at Metro Airport. Winds at 17 miles per hour. Been pretty breezy all day long, so it knocks those wind chills down to the teens. Feels like 19 right now. That's what we need to dress for as we head out this evening. 28 for our friends in Oxford with some of that snow falling right now. 29 in Petersburg, Toledo down at 29 degrees, and 31 for our friends over in Monroe. And we see low temperatures tonight dip into the 20s. Cold trend continues as temperatures now between 5 and 9 degrees lower than what they were 24 hours ago. Also, in areas where it's snowing, like here in Oakland County, Pontiac visibility down to about 3 miles. Might even get lower in some neighborhoods, so keep that in mind as you're heading out as well. That's another hazard for you. Well, the clouds stay in place as we go through tonight and into tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, more lake effect snow will be generated and move across the area. So count on maybe another ½ inch to 1 inch of snowfall for Saturday, maybe another inch as we go into Sunday, especially on grassy areas. So those unaffected road surfaces get a lot more slippery tonight and this weekend with lows down to 28 degrees. Make sure those fireplaces are working. Make sure those heaters are working too before going to bed. Of course, extinguish all those fires if you're using them later on tonight before sleeping. Temperatures up to 33 degrees on Saturday. Sunrise is at 7:50. By Sunday, we're still looking at a chance of scattered snow. Highs around 30 degrees. Then look at that. We get some sunshine finally coming back. It's been a while since we've seen the sun, right?
Too long.
It's still cold. Still cold with a high of 29, but seasonable temps as we go into next week with more snowfall on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Pretty wintry look. All right. Well, it's time to rev the engines. Ahead here at 5, we're headed to Monster Jam. Monster Jam.
Love the way you said that.
Showing you what it's really like to get behind the wheel of a monster truck.
They need to have you to be an announcer there.
And you'd be one of the drivers.
I would love it.
I know you want that, yeah.
But first, bombshell allegations in the Flint water crisis. A new report claiming tainted water may have led to the death of dozens of people. We'll be right back.
Let's look across Michigan this Friday. Stories from up north in Emmett County, across the state in Kalamazoo.
But we want to start in Flint. That's where a report says deaths first attributed to pneumonia could now be linked to the Flint water crisis and the outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. According to a report in Bridge Magazine, there were 87 pneumonia deaths in Genesee County in 2015. In 2014, the year officials switched Flint's drinking water source, 90 deaths, a significant rise from the 53 pneumonia deaths in 2013. Medical experts now believe the deaths in 2014 and 2015 were actually Legionnaire's cases that went undiagnosed because they coincided with the time Flint's water source switched.
Good Samaritans jumped to rescue a 2-year-old after the vehicle she was in crashed, killing her mother. It happened Thursday morning on US 31 near Horton Bay Road in Emmett County. Police said it appears a 34-year-old woman lost control of her minivan and crossed right into the path of a pickup truck. That's when bystanders then rushed over and pulled her 2-year-old daughter from the vehicle. She ended up only suffering minor injuries. The driver in the pickup suffered some minor injuries as well. One man's conscience is clear after he called authorities and admitted he was the suspect for whom they were searching.
Kalamazoo Public Safety released this surveillance photo Thursday. I believe we showed it to you. They say it shows a man entering a Jimmy John's where he fired a gun inside the men's bathroom and then left. Nobody was injured, but authorities say after the photos released, the suspect called and confessed it was him that did it.
New at 5:30.
The world-famous Diego Rivera murals are just some of the many treasures of Detroit culture that many people don't necessarily appreciate.
We are looking for ways to be better and improve outcomes for kids.
But the new school district has decided this is where it's going to start to get kids to really re-engage with education. And they say they're going to have some fun. How so? We'll let you know ahead.
Highly contagious and extremely miserable. That's the best way to describe the virus that's circulating this week. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Tonight at 5, see what's going around where you live.
No fraud was found in the Department of Elections here in Detroit, but they have decided to make some pretty big moves to change elections going forward. What those moves will be and how much it will cost.
It's dinner time. Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
There were plenty of problems, but was there any voter fraud? Detroit's clerk answering the questions and revealing big new plans to make sure every vote is counted and counted properly. We'll start there at 5:30. Big news from Detroit's Department of Elections. They have been cleared from any wrongdoing in the presidential election.
A state investigation found a lot of problems, but nothing fraudulent. And as Nick Monticelli reports, big changes are still coming.
Well, listen, that headline that no fraud was found in the Department of Elections in Detroit is not new news. We knew that a couple of days ago, but the city of Detroit, their elections department, wants to make sure that they don't have as many issues like this moving forward.
Thank you, darling.
If you're looking for a place loaded with opinions, look no further than American Coney Island, even for thoughts on voting in Detroit and the Department of Elections plans to get all new voting machines.
It's a waste of money. I don't have a problem. I go at 7 o'clock in the morning when I get off from work. I vote. I stand in line.
But on this topic, Laura Reed is in the minority.
I think it's necessary. I mean, we should renew our voting systems anyway, just to make it more efficient.
I read the numbers about how many errors there seem to be in Detroit, and it sounded kind of like a disaster, so it seems like maybe some investment should take place.
And those errors are a main reason the department is getting 700 new machines. They will cost $82 million, but the city of Detroit is only paying $1.6 million. Wayne County and the state is paying the rest of it. The state audit, though, did find errors, a lot of them, including mismatches in nearly 60% of the precincts. They also could not recount 392 of the 662 precincts because of a state law that prevents canisters from being reopened to count ballots, even if the error is human error.
Anytime you're dealing with people to implement anything, you're going to have errors. We hire for this election about 7,000 poll workers.
To keep those errors down, though, those poll workers will be trained much more now. Instead of once a year, they will be trained 4 times a year.
Though we seek to administer perfect elections, we realize that there's no such thing, as elections is not an exact science.
In Detroit, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
All 700 of those new machines will be ready for the mayoral and city council elections in November. Devin.
Well, voter fraud, just one raindrop in the torrent of news that came out in this first week of the Trump presidency. Joining us now from Washington, Chuck Todd of Meet the Press. Chuck, have they told you yet that Meet the Press is going to be a 6-hour program every week?
It's funny, I've already made the request to at least give me another hour. We're going to alert all the affiliates and like, watch out, we're going to keep going. No, it does feel that way. This week was a tale of two Donald Trumps in this first week. One was the guy trying to keep promises, sign executive orders, hit the ground running, and then the other was the guy that let his vanity get in his own way. And it's been very hard to disaggregate the two, but in some ways, this was what it was like with Donald Trump, the candidate.
Yeah, exactly, which I think has buoyed many of his supporters, no doubt. But I want to talk particularly here a little bit about the role for people like you and I. We typically don't enjoy being a part of the story, and now that we're being characterized by Steve Bannon as the opposition party, this is a tricky spot.
Yeah. Look, it's a tricky spot if we engage in that way. I mean, look, it's a political tactic. This is no different than the Nixon White House, the Johnson White House, the Carter White House, the Reagan White House, blah, 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 blah. I can go down the line. Clinton White House, very antagonizing toward the press. And there were even times the Obama White House was. So on one hand, it's not new if you've been doing this a while. I've been doing this 25 years, and I'm used to antagonistic relationships with White Houses. Again, the Clinton White House, probably the most antagonistic in my lifetime. But look, I think what was inappropriate on Steve Bannon's part was the shut up part. There is times when it feels as if the White House is not a full-fledged defender of the First Amendment, and I think that there are many people inside that White House that think Steve Bannon went too far.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about, though, is the way that the chairs have changed in this interesting game. Democrats forever have said that we need more protectionist trade policy. They now have a president who's trying to give them that. Republicans used to cringe at the very word tariff, and yet now they're, many of them, trying to support a president who's doing that. The game has changed in really bizarre ways.
Don't say tariff, border adjustment tax, right? You're not supposed to say tariff or anything like that. No,
right.
Look, that's the language here. It is fascinating, and I think that this is the opportunity that Donald Trump has. He is, on one hand, look, he's reshaping what it means to be a Republican, at least when it comes to trade, potentially to trade policy. But this is an opportunity for him to create a coalition in Washington that may, include sort of one part of the Republican coalition in Congress and one part of the Democratic coalition. The question is, does he go down that road to try to build unique coalitions like that, or does everybody get into their partisan corners because if Trump's for it, Democrats are automatically against it and all that stuff? So I'll tell you, one person to watch, Debbie Stabenow. She's up for re-election. Yep. How will she play? How will she do on things like this that may play well in Michigan with some of her constituents, even if it's not something, even if it's something that supports Trump?
No doubt about it. Chuck, we look forward to Meet the Press this week. Thanks for the time today.
You got it. Thank you.
Karen?
All right, thank you, Devin. Wayne County has set a deadline on when it will begin to seek proposals to restart construction on its half-finished jail. Construction for the jail started back in 2013 at Gratiot and St. Antoine, but was halted after construction cost overruns. Late last year, Dan Gilbert was hoping to buy the land and build a Major League Soccer stadium on that site. The county says on February 10th, it will issue a request for proposals to continue construction, and that once that is issued, it will not consider any other alternative projects for the site. The hot new educational focus today is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, STEAM for short.
Detroit Public Schools Community District looking to add to STEAM with a winter program that takes in the arts as well. Rod Maloney here to show us how Detroit's own cultural organizations are lining up to help. Rod?
One of the best kept secrets in the city of Detroit is things like the Detroit Institute of Arts. Many Detroiters and many Metro Detroiters have never been, haven't seen it. But the DPSCD has decided it's time to sort of take the lid off and have everybody enjoy it, starting with Detroit's own school kids. For many Detroit school children, access to a math book is tough. So any thought of access to the Detroit Symphony Orchestra registers at a much higher level. all but impossible. That is, until now. Detroit Public Schools Community District Interim Superintendent Alicia Merriweather created what's called a steamy winter.
So we've come in partnership with our community partners to say these are going to be free. And we're removing a barrier to make sure that families have opportunity to those great events.
Starting next month, DPS CD children will have a myriad of weekend and off-school hours cultural programs around the city, hosted by groups like the DSO, the DIA, Museum of Contemporary Arts Detroit, the Belle Isle Nature Center, the Michigan Science Center, the Detroit Public Library, Eastern Market, and the rink at Campus Martius Park, just to name a few. DSO President Ann Parsons says it's hands and ears on.
We're going to give them the opportunity to get right close to these instruments, touch the instruments, blow into a horn, see what works for them. They'll be able to pick up a bow, and so this is what we call our instrument petting zoo. It's very, very popular.
But there has to be fun, absolutely. And we need to show families that there's ways to have fun while you're participating in learning experiences.
The first steamy winter event is going to happen at the Belle Isle Zoo on February 14th, a kind of pre-Valentine's Day celebration. And if you want to know more about this and all the rest of the steamy winter events, go to clickondetroit.com. In Detroit, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod. Governor Snyder traveling to Israel on a mission to try to strengthen business ties between Israel and Michigan. Governor's going to be leading a 7-day investment mission across the country. Delegation will travel to several cities, including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, to meet businesses, government, and university leaders. Snyder's focusing on cybersecurity. He'll be speaking at the 2017 Cyber Tech Conference, which is one of the largest cyber exhibitions outside the U.S.
Well, lion season is long over, but this weekend Ford Field will be packed to capacity for Monster Jam. Our Kim DeGiulio got to spend some time with the drivers of these massive monster trucks and shows us what it's really like to get behind the wheel.
The turf on Ford Field has been replaced with dirt. It's all for the Monster Jam event happening here on Saturday night that you don't want to miss. Saturday night, these massive trucks right here will do the unthinkable.
We'll be jumping 35, 40 feet in the air, backflips, crashes. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Awesome indeed, but even the drivers who've been doing this for years can't believe some of the wild things they do.
You'd be crazy not to be nervous out here. You know, the adrenaline rush is just off the chart.
The drivers will compete in a timed race and a wheelie and freestyle competition. These male and female drivers are willing to do just about whatever it takes to get the crowd into it. Charlie Pauken, who has been a driver for 30 years, says it's the fans who get him going.
You can actually hear people gasp and cheer. It's just such an amazing feeling. I've got goosebumps talking about it. It's that cool.
The driver of the Mad Scientist truck, Lee O'Donnell, has traveled all around the world for Monster Jam. He says he's happy to be back in Detroit because we're one of their favorite cities.
Yeah, easy top 5. This is the Motor City, so you know, to rack up wins here would be great for VP and the Mad Scientist.
Come Saturday night, this place will be roaring, not just with the trucks, but the fans as well. It's an event that you don't want to miss. It kicks off at 7 p.m. Reporting in Ford Field, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
She looks the part. We will be able to hear that from here.
I was just going to say, I hope people bring some headphones, especially bring the little kids.
Yeah, exactly. They're adorable in the little
it is pretty
cute.
Headsets.
It's one thing Costco started selling that is turning one popular sport on its head.
New tonight, what it is and why folks are lining up to get them after they sold out in just a matter of days.
Also, something just didn't seem right. Ahead at 5:30, what landed this veteran firefighter in jail. His co-workers are calling it the ultimate betrayal. Doc?
Highly contagious and extremely miserable. That's the best way to describe the viruses circulating this week. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Coming up, see what's going around where you live.
The Nova.
New at 6.
The 2 suspects charged in the murder of a West Bloomfield woman found shot and burned in her car had a preliminary hearing this morning. Why it didn't go as planned.
Plus, a series of employee deaths raised questions about a postal facility in Pontiac. New at 6, the results of an investigation into whether something underground was hurting workers' health.
Now to good health, highly contagious and extremely miserable. That's how experts are describing the viruses that have been circulating this week.
Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to show us what's going around that you need to worry about.
Between concern about whooping cough, rising flu cases, and stomach viruses hitting hard, it's been a very sick week for Southeast Michigan. Here's what's going around where you live. In Wayne County, flu and upper respiratory infections are hitting harder this week in most places, including my ER at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, as well as Beaumont, Trenton, and Dearborn. Stomach viruses top the list at Garden City Hospital, and Grosse Pointe Physicians and Surgeons reports asthma and bronchitis. Children's Hospital continues to treat kids with RSV. Moving to Oakland County, whooping cough is a big concern there, with the health department reporting 56 cases since November. Clarkson Medical Group is treating flu cases and a stomach virus that lasts 2 to 3 days. Upper respiratory infections are the primary problem at McLaren Oakland, and CVS Minute Clinics in Milford and Walled Lake are seeing strep throat and herp angina. That's a viral illness that causes small blister-like sores on the roof of the mouth and the back of the throat. Over to Washtenaw County, where the health department says flu levels continue to be elevated. U of M is seeing a lot of viral upper respiratory infections in children, especially bronchiolitis, an infection that causes noisy, rapid breathing. In adults, lots of coughs and some stomach viruses. Heading to Monroe County, the ER at ProMedica Monroe Regional reports a lot of norovirus, plus some flu and respiratory viruses in general. There's also bronchitis, sinus infections, and head colds. Finally, in Macomb County, they're seeing influenza, a significant number of patients suffering from stomach viruses, and worsening asthma that's triggered by upper respiratory infections and in some cases leading to pneumonia. Good hand washing, covering your cough, and staying home when you're sick are essential to stopping the spread of most of these illnesses, and I cannot stress enough, flu shots and the pertussis vaccine are really the best defense against those illnesses. Make sure your family's had those shots. Back to you.
So many people are battling.
I know, it seems everywhere.
Out there. Well, it is the golf
Hand
ball.
sanitizer, just check it. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's the golf ball that's turning the sport on its head, and it's made by Costco.
Big Box chain confirms the Kirkland golf ball will soon be back in stock. It's become so popular because, for starters, it's cheap price. It's $50 a dozen. $15 a dozen, but also because of its performance. In testing, it has performed better than the top golf ball used by most pros, and that one is $50 a dozen. Right now, not exactly clear when they'll return, but when they do, they will again fly off the shelf, no doubt. The last time they were on sale, they sold out in a matter of days.